Hello, everybody. I thought this would be a fitting first video for my channel. This is an interview I recorded with John Farnam at SHOT Show 2026. I think it's fitting for my channel because I consider myself the younger generation of firearms instructor. Someone who teaches firearms for serious use. And that's something that was, if not started by John Farnam and in his era, I know Colonel Cooper gets a lion's share of the credit for that era, but there were people like John Farnam that have really pushed the art of defensive pistol use over the years. And I think that the newer generation is so fast to question some of these guys who are absolute treasure troves of knowledge. Like, what is John Farnam's practice score? I don't know. I don't know what his fastest bill drill is, but I know that when it comes to the things that I care about and the lens that I look through as a lone civilian armed responder, his teachings are very important, and we can't lose that knowledge over time just because it's sexier to do other things with guns. So please enjoy this interview and go train with John Farnam. It doesn't matter what class he's teaching, just whatever class you can get to of his, sign up for, and then figure out the gear list, show up. You will learn. You will be a better protector of yourself and those around you. So here we are with John Farnam. I don't know if you would call yourself a legend, but I know that there's many that would. My mentor, James Yeager, held you in extremely high respect.
And I held him in high regard too. He was a wonderful friend.
Yeah, and I believe that, and correct me if I get any of your bio wrong, but I think you would refer that you were the first and longest running traveling instructor of firearms.
Well, I was among the first.
Okay.
I think I was. And longest running. Next month I'll be celebrating my 81st birthday. But it may be too much fun to win.
Yeah.
And I enjoy some of the traveling, especially by air. It gets a little weary, but the opportunity to influence people, I find exciting.
Yes.
And that's why I do this. That's why I'm here at the SHOT Show with you guys. I want to see what's new. I want to talk to our manufacturers, the distributors. I'm not sure they all want to hear my opinions, but I like to have some input. And everybody is nice to me, or at least courteous. Probably that's my age. But
and like the stories there, just like traveling, how that has changed over the years. Right? Because you were traveling to teach classes like pre-TSA kind of stuff.
oh yeah,
So I mean, I guess there's deep stories to be told.
I hate to talk about the old days.
No, but it's interesting because some of us don't think about what freedom was.
I remember I've been a police officer since 1969. I used to flash my 10, we're police, and go right on the plane. I was 100 person. Nobody ever said anything. I did that 100 times.
Yeah. It's the beginning of the original Die Hard movie.
Right.
Where he's wearing a shoulder holster with.
Oh yeah.
And he says, "Don't worry, I'm a cop."
Yeah.
Right. That's all it took.
We, as I stress to my students, you've heard me say this, that low profile has a lot to recommend it. And I normally don't answer questions that weren't asked. But yeah, it's changed. I continue to fly by air. a lot. I usually fly Southwest. They've been, I'm not sure they're wonderful, but I wouldn't use that word, but they're tolerable. And but police officers have no special status anymore. You know, we're just peons like everyone else. But you know, flying armed was no big thing back in the day. I've lived long enough to have experienced that personally.
Yeah.
And of course, those days will never come again, I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I don't think once systems of control are in place, you very rarely are going to see them.
The civilization will have to come and go before that ever changes.
Yeah. So in addition to Jaeger holding you in such high regard, another person who I hold in high regard is Paul Marco.
Oh yeah.
And he credits you with, I think it was his first commercial training class that he took in the year after I was born.
Okay.
So he took his first class with you then, and he holds you in very high.
Well, Paul was a wonderful friend and quite an influence on our industry, and so that was very kind of him to say. But he's quite a factor.
Yeah, without a doubt, and it's like me learning from the guys like Jaeger and Paul, and then reading in on these, Musashi and like seek what they sought, right? So I've had the benefit of training under you a number of times on your trips to Camden, and it keeps. I feel that, especially in this industry, if you're going to be teaching others to do that and try and go back to source,
See where we came from.
wherever you can, because otherwise things start getting lost in translation of the telephone game.
Everybody wants to be original. That's mostly nonsense. As you say, nothing we teach is new.
Right.
Musashi was doing this in 800 AD, and he probably stole it from someone else. We try to refine it and advance the art. Of course, we have new technology. I can't even keep track of it anymore. But the underlying philosophy and all that is continues to serve us well. But as you know, where you stand depends on where you sit. And even among my close colleagues, we don't agree on everything.
Right.
It's been said, when two men agree on everything, one of them is not necessary.
Right.
And but I don't consider agreeing with me on anything to be a condition of friendship. I think I know most people in this industry, and it's we're all technically competitors, but we're all friends. And I've never had a rhythm
If done correctly.
I'm sorry?
I said, if done correctly, it seems like that's how things should be.
Exactly. Things should evolve, and I never had an original idea in my life, until am I likely to when it comes so. But when I see something, even something as subtle as a particular way of wording an issue, I say to myself, why didn't I figure that? That's a clever and a good way to make that point. And I'll happily steal it. And I try to give credit.
Yep.
But on the other hand,
Another thing that is sometimes lacking. It seems more in newer generations of instructors.
well, people claim originality. That's nonsense, largely. There's not much original in this business. And but we should all treasure each other and each individual contribution to this art, the advancement of this art. And that's certainly what I try to do.
Okay, and so I guess quick shameless plug time. Like, let's let people know how they can sign up for classes with you. And when you go to do a class with Mr. Farnam or John, know that we're dealing with some long days. There's been times where we're out on the range and I'm thinking we're getting ready to break, for for at least a few hours, and you're like, okay, have some snacks, and then we'll start talking about low light.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, here we go.
We never have enough time.
Yeah. Bring
And,
food to the range.
So
Be ready, have your mags loaded. You know,
I want to
ready
make
go.
sure my students get their money worth, and so when you take money from people, you have a responsibility. I want to make sure I get as much information to them as I can. And as you heard me say in classes, at the end of the day, I say, now, I will stay here as long as your questions and my stamina hold out.
And it seems your stamina is it hasn't been the weak link in the chain in any class.
Well, I hope so. I'm sure you don't have the energy I used to, but again, as I said, I'm having too much fun to quit, and I enjoy my students. I enjoy influencing people. Like you're in the next generation. My generation is fading away. You're going to carry it on from here, and I want to have as much influence as I can.
Awesome. And so where do they go? How do they get signed up? How do they see what your schedule looks
the
like?
best way is to go to my webpage. It's JS Farnam. I'm sorry, that's my email, jsfarnam@aol.com. You can email me too, but the webpage is defense-training. defense-training.com. That's got everything on it. But don't hesitate to email me. I answer all my email personally, so I always enjoy hearing the truth. So
Yeah. So get on the website, send an email. If people are interested in hosting you, is there a process or form on the website? Or
no, but they need to email me
Okay.
or call me. My cell phone is 970-227-2237. That'll get me directly.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to talk.
No gatekeepers to filter.
No, I wouldn't trust anybody to do my paperwork, so no, I do it all myself. I don't want an empire. I'm comfortable with what I do. I pretty much control what I do, and I don't want employees, and I don't want accounts receivable, and I don't want an inventory. I like being an independent consultant.
Yeah, and that's something maybe offline after this I could ask you about, because it's hard to be capitalistic while also wanting, like, how do I sell something I want to give everyone?
Right. It's very easy to promote yourself into incompetence. I was a young second lieutenant, and I was comfortable at the platoon level, and then I got promoted to captain, and then I was a lot less comfortable. There's more things to keep track of. I'm sure I never would have made it to much higher grade. I retired at the rank of major, but I would very quickly be promoted to my level of incompetence. So I'm comfortable doing what I do and where I am. I don't want to get any bigger. I got a call from a lawyer. I consult with shooting cases with attorneys now and then. I got a call from a lawyer just a couple of days ago, and he said, I'm involved in this case. It was a very high-profile shooting case. And he said, now, if you get involved, you'll become famous. I said, counselor, I'm already more famous than I ever want to be. So that has no value to me.
All right. So the discussion I wanted to get together with you on, I guess we could start with something I've heard a quote attributed to you, but especially being at SHOT Show, it seems there's a lot of things in the industry, whether it's gear or training, that are not necessarily optimized for what I would call serious use of firearms. And I heard that quote attributed to you was something to the effect of, well, I deal in the serious use of firearms.
Yes. Serious guns for serious purposes. That's my interest. I just had a long conversation with the CEO of Diamondback down there, a very fine company that make wonderful stuff.
I saw they had a new, J-frame competitor.
Yeah. Very good. They enjoy a very good reputation. And I said, look, I understand. As a manufacturer, people buy guns for lots of different reasons. and none of them are get legitimate. So they're collectors. They never shoot at all. There are people, like, when someone asks me what kind of gun should I buy, I always ask them, well, what's it for? Do you want it to impress your friends or impress your enemy? Now, if you want to impress your friends, there's a lot of $3,000 pistols here, and they was we're not. And if that does it for you, far be it for me to tell you that's anything wrong with that. It's just that I have no interest in that. My interest is in serious guns for serious purposes, and helping people who are serious about learning this art.
Okay, so let's expand on that. Your definition of serious purposes. Like, so serious people, obviously, they're going to take whatever task they're approaching seriously, put in the effort for that.
Yes.
So do you mean like winning USPSA matches?
Oh boy, I don't want to make any enemies here.
Hey, you're not going to offend anyone. Remember, a lot of these people who are going to watch my channel are probably people that hung around a lot of Jaegers.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Even when I say serious guns for serious purposes, there are subcategories there. There's military purposes. There are law enforcement purposes, and even in that, I'm not sure the FBI has the same needs as the local police. And then there's the non-police self-defense. And that's really what I concentrate on mostly. We had a heated discussion about missile optics. It's not a done deal. It's still controversial. There are arguments on both sides. Mm-hmm. And
I'm actually starting to come back from the optics. Mm-hmm. So I think the way I use the optic, I'm using the Circle Army reticle, gives back some crude sight alignment that I think is beneficial for, again, everything. My lens, the name of my new company is LCAR Concepts. So lone civilian Farnam responder. So I have no team with me, right? And I don't have, a duty to put handcuffs on anybody or anything like that. Right. I'm going to have the tools I need with me. Yeah. And I am my own first responder. So everything I look at is through that lens. And even that, as I see that movement is that much more important. Mm-hmm. Window size of an optic now becomes a very limiting factor when when it's running, in a horizontal fashion.
That's part of the argument. It does give you some capabilities. The counter argument is how important are those capabilities? Is that something we're going to use? I have students with vision issues for whom a pistol optic is a godsend. For them, conventional iron sights are unusable. Now I give them I'm back in the game. That's wonderful. And nothing wrong with that. But it's not all advantage, as you say. Sometimes it's truly close quarters. It's really a disadvantage. It takes a lot of training, and so once again, the issue is not so. There's argument both ways. Stuff that's less arguable, I think. And again, I'm probably not going to be a soprano singer, but the upward ports on pistols are all the rage, all error, the upward ports. Well,
our friend Paul that's one that really gets on me.
Again, the issue is, of course, when you've got the pistol in here, you're going to get a face full of this stuff. It's not only a safety issue; it's a tactical issue. It's going to, degrade your ability to deal with the situation. So, on a serious
under low light, how is it going to affect vision?
Yeah, there's that too. So, on my range, they're not allowed. They're absolutely not allowed.
Okay. What about 320s?
Sorry.
Do you allow SIG 320s in classes?
Okay, boy, there's another hot issue. With regard to the 320, I carried one for a year. Never had a problem. Okay. I, at this point, don't know what is going on. I wish I had an insight. I honestly don't know. It may all be bullshit.
I'm glad since the last kind of couple batches of that
Yeah.
use and stuff, it seems like
It's leveled
students
out.
have self-selected.
Yeah.
Like I have not seen them to need to.
But to answer your question, yeah, I don't. My personal experience, they're fine. We don't see them as often now, of course, because when people go to buy a pistol, they hear about this, and there's lots of other choices. I just came from the SIG booth, and the 320s are still on display. They've got them out there. However, there's a bigger section of 365s.
Oh yeah.
I think the 365 is going to kind of take over.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the upper lofty levels that say they have these decisions to make and things to think about it. I'm sure they know more than I do. I wish I had some clear insight into what was going on, and at this point, I really don't. But it's
I know. I didn't mean to derail you on the SIG controversies, but would like to get back to the compensators because that was something I had here. Like in this realm, through this lens of serious use for a civilian who wants to protect himself, herself, and the people around, innocent people around them. Like how important, I have written down here, how important are split times? Are comps on defensive guns worth it? So already we've cut the comps not there. Like
they're probably mostly irrelevant.
okay.
I know in competition shooting, to separate the grade the shooters on how they did, you have to have things that are measurable, like the distance between holes of paper or the thing in the clock. You have to have things you can measure to decide who got first place, who got less than first place. Yeah, I understand. I have no interest in competition. There's no competition out there that I have any interest in. Most of the competitors I see don't even carry a gun. Yeah, that's fine. If they enjoy doing that, I have no problem. It's just I have no interest in it. And I get a little upset sometimes when some of that creeps into what we do. Another example would be the corded barrels. Another example is through and through cuts on the fly. If you look at pistols, now they have
mud. I saw those mud introduction for us.
Yeah. Yes. On a serious gun, the last thing in the world you'd want. It's done ostensibly for aesthetics and maybe for the movie sulfate.
Yeah, because then you can use a lighter recoil spray that will have less chance of getting the gun into battery instead.
But on a serious gun, the last thing you're going to what do you want? It's an industrial point for grit and airborne grit, muzz, and all that. It's not nothing you'd ever want. But I see several brands of pistols I've been looking at. They don't have ones that don't have that. They're all cut up, and so I'm sorry, I can't recommend your pistol.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's perfectly functional.
Yeah, to me, and they tried. It seems like there's a number of manufacturers who have tried to capitalize on the market desire for a compensator, but to make that easier, they cut the barrel short of the slides, or put a longer slide on, and then cut holes in the top of the slide. So you're getting like the worst of all worlds, because now you're just putting more carbon into that slide scope. And to me makes no sense, but I'm only how many years into this, and I'm wondering if I'm missing something.
We're kind of on the same page on that. Whenever someone talks about, well, this is going to give you a competitive edge, I stop them.
Okay.
You're not serious.
Now, what about, so there's people out there who are, what I refer to, I did not serve in the military, but there's military cool guys.
Sure.
The guys, that I don't know if the unit.
Yeah.
I don't know all the different denominations of like who's cooler than who. Is Alpha better than Delta, or But there's guys who have been in that walk of life who are now competitive shooters, who then are also teaching civilians and preaching that the skills applied to win that game will transfer to the street. because everything is like simply a shooting problem when it comes to defense. Like, how much of that do you think carries over? Like, at what level of let's say, like USPSA or IDPA shooting level should you be before you like start thinking about using cover correctly?
Boy, that's a good question. Now, I was one of those ones. I was a young, fresh out of that Vietnam, and thought I knew some stuff. But I met people like Mass IU, but discovered I didn't know anything. Mass has been doing the legal stuff a lot longer than I have. Is just knows a lot more than I do. But when you hear things like someone with a military orientation, and now you shoot them into the ground, you are going straight to a penitentiary. And
Yeah, if your bill drill is a little too fast
yeah,
in
or
the CBS.
they don't do anything with verbal challenges, or they teach things like you start pressuring the trigger here, and so you drive the gun up and it fires just as you get on target. You're going to a penitentiary with an attitude like an attitude and a technique like that. That the fact is, statistically,
Even law enforcement, though, there's times where you point a gun at somebody, tell them to do things, and they listen.
imagine that. And actually, statistically, when you produce a gun in a public place for good cause, you'll actually shoot it. Of the next 30 times you do that, you won't shoot 29. So we have to be able to draw and fire. We have to be able to draw and not fire. And whether or not we do, or whether we do or not, is largely out of our control. It depends on the behavior of the suspect. But as you heard me say in classes, when you produce a pistol in a public place, you're in felony territory. Whether it goes off or not, you can be expected to be charged with a felony. Now, maybe it was for good cause, and maybe your lawyer can make a persuasive case and all that, but at the very least, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be emotionally traumatic, and this idea that we should get out there and shoot our gun every time we draw, we shoot. I think that training is not job related. In my course, as you know, my courses, I like.
But now, I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second.
Good.
Because I think the argument from the other side there would be, well, if you don't need your gun out, then don't take it out. And it only needs to come out if you need to shoot somebody, or like something to that effect. Like, well, if you didn't need to shoot him, then you didn't need to pull your gun out. And if you had better situational awareness, you wouldn't have been in that situation.
Unfortunately, lacking the gift of prophecy, I won't be predicting the future today. Oftentimes, I have a very dangerous situation where to produce a gun is a very reasonable thing to do because shooting appears likely, and then he runs away. Now, is that a good outcome? Well, that's a great outcome. Can you still be charged with reckless endangerment or something like that? You might be. You're going to have to make a persuasive argument on the other side. But the idea that, well, you should be able to look into the future and tell that that's silly. That's silly. I've been involved in enough cases where guns came out at inappropriate times. Been involved in cases where guns came out and then the shooter actually had a UD. But he had his finger on the trigger because he hadn't been trained to keep his finger off the trigger. He had his finger on the trigger, and some instructors will tell you to do that. And then he sneezed, and now we have an injured or dead suspect. And now what are you going to say? Well, I didn't really mean to. See how the jury likes that argument. Yeah. So. There's a lot of subtleties. I'm not sure I'm the world's expert. Bass does a lot more of this than I do, as does my colleague Manny Capelson. Testifies in a lot of cases. I learned a great deal from him. I do a lot less of it. I frankly like working with students a lot better than working with lawyers.
Right. Yeah.
But
yeah.
But
Jaeger always talk about the three battles, right? You have the gunfight, the legal fight,
Right.
and then the emotional fight.
and you're yeah.
You've got to kind of get through one at a time.
And I would largely agree with that. We take our mental health for granted. Don't. Your mental health is a lot more precarious than you might think. And that becomes, as you say, a whole separate issue. And then I don't want to spend a lot of time in a penitentiary.
Yeah, I'd like to keep my splits low,
Right.
behind bars.
So you probably heard me say in class, when I started the class, I said, we have two goals here. Goal number one, we all die of old age. That's goal number one. Goal number two, we don't spend a lot of time in the penitentiary. And I'm talking about domestic offensive shooting in the United States. Now, in other parts of the world, the rules are different. And I'm not sure I'm up on a lot of that. In a battlefield, the rules are different. And even in law enforcement, the rules are different. Police have arrest collars, and they have detention powers that non-police don't have. They may have the necessity to shoot down a hallway and hit a target 50 meters away. Far less likely for a civilian defender, or I should not say a non-law enforcement defender.
Right.
The police officer may have to shoot a hostage taker in the head at 20 meters. Far less likely among civilian defenders. So I think in training, we need to spend most of our time dealing with what's most likely, and then whatever time is left, we deal with what's less likely. Nothing's impossible, but we have to ask ourselves, what is most likely? What kinds of situations are you most likely going to run into, and how can we deal with this at the lowest force level possible? As civilian defenders, we're not making arrests. We're not going to arrest anyone. And as you know, in the courses, part of the course we fit. Here comes a panhandler, and we learn to say, "I'm sorry, sir, I can't help you. You have a nice day." I used that exact line last night. We were out for dinner, and here comes this Jamal. It's a Las Vegas course. Here comes this slovenly Jamal, and he mumbles something, and of course I'm armed, and I'm sorry, sir, I can't help you. You have a nice day. Oh, good. And he wanders off. Well, is that a happy ending? That's a happy ending.
How much did you have to spend on a lawyer?
Right.
Sounds happy end as you made.
Right. So
Now,
Go ahead.
so you mentioned something right there I'd like to key in on. You said, of course, I'm armed.
yes.
Do you think it's a credibility issue for somebody teaching people to walk around honestly that don't practice it themselves
Yes.
at pretty much all times?
Yes.
It is, because
I have a problem with that.
I think when it comes to training, like I've said things, and this was something that I told Super Dave Harrington, and him and I had talked a lot on a lot of things.
Another wonderful instructor.
Awesome. And I miss him. But we had spoken because he was dealing with a lot of physical ailments, and he felt he needed to get his physicality back before he could teach. And I said, hey man, you've got other dudes who know your stuff who can do the demo part, and you can do the teach. And he was like, nah man, if I can't do it, I can't teach it. And I was like, well, somewhere there's like a fat Russian dude smoking a cigarette, like teaching some 14-year-old girl how to do the balance beam or the parallel bars, right? And he might be the best coach, for that. And so, but is there a certain context of carrying a gun day in, day out, everywhere you go? Some NPE, potentially even. And does that translate more to a student who's looking for that as their serious usage?
I think when you're armed all the time, you have a depth of experience you share with your student. that someone who doesn't go armed doesn't have, and he just doesn't do it. I tell my instructors, don't be afraid to shoot in front of your students. Don't be afraid to demonstrate things in front of your students. And when you do, you're going to pitch shots now there. I sure have. And I turn to my students and say, well, don't do it that way. But we're only human. You've heard the expression, people who think they're perfect are a real source of annoyance to those of us who are.
That's another good one. We're gonna have to put that. That's quote.
We're only human. And when I do demonstrations, I sure pitch my share of shots, and I've done things wrong, and I think your students will forgive an occasional pitch shot. I don't think they're going to forgive a coward. Well, I've got nothing to prove. Well, yes, you do.
Right.
You call yourself an instructor. I'd like to see you do this. Now, I'm probably not going to get on a balance beam.
Right.
I only do it once. And I'm sure and not as fast as I was when I was 25.
Right.
I'm slow and deliberate, and I get most of the time.
But as a student of those, I know that this is not something that on the weekend you put on your hat and bring to the range with you. So even walking through the SHOT Show floor there, I'm like, oh, there's Mr. Farnam, let me grab him. Like, I still have hesitation to just run up behind you.
Good.
and put a hand on your shoulder, because I don't know if, I value my wrist and all of that. So I'll take the escalator down behind you until I can come at you from front on and introduce.
Well, you'll probably give me more credit than I deserve, but yeah, I think it's something, I live it. I go armed every day. I'm armed now. I don't care who likes it, and I don't ask anyone for measure.
So that is something you would say people should look for when trying to find instructors to guide them along this martial path.
Yes. I'll answer that with yes. Now, I'm not sure it's necessary to have been a police officer. I'm not sure it's necessary to have been in the military. In my case, I've been in both in my case, but I don't look at that as well, don't go to Henry, never been a, I don't. If you look at a guy like Frank Sharp, young upcoming instructor, no military experience, no law enforcement experience, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm proud to have had some influence on him, but there are many like that. I hate to mention people because someone upset they didn't mention that.
I sit in that boat, and something that I see that I think Jaeger keyed me in on, watch out for institutionalization, right? The wife who cuts the corner off the ham because that's what mom did,
Right.
and mom does it because that's what grandma did. But then when we find out why grandma did, it was because she had a small lip, right? And so
It's a good point.
it seems that a lot of stuff comes down. Like, I asked one of them question to Paul Markle a few days ago, was how come it seems a lot of these SF guys are racking their Glock slide up using slingshot. And he said, well, because that's how they did it with the Berettas. And
It's because when you came over like this, you put 50 caliber down.
right.
Yeah.
And so now, where the Beretta has an ejection port on both sides, it's got like the moonroof of projection port, whereas a Glock or modern striker fire guns, gravity kind of only works in the one direction.
Right.
So obviously I buy in for the tactical response method of let gravity work with you, right? Because if I let Murphy and gravity team up against me, right, I feel like, I'm really pushing that bill down.
I truly wouldn't invite him.
Right. So, but he said, well, that's how they did it with the Beretta.
This is the problem when things get written down. when things get videoed, it never changes. You know, people see that, and 20 years from now, they see it when it's hopelessly obsolete, and they still do it that way.
But like, did you guys hire for 1911s
Oh,
at
yeah.
some point in the military, right?
yeah.
Before Beretta? And did they hold the ejection port up
Sure.
and
Sure,
drew
you'd
your
see it
banana
in the-
11, or would you go
Yeah.
ejection port
No.
towards the ground?
No, everybody
It was always
Yeah,
up,
everybody did that way.
so you could watch them.
Because when I was in OCS, this was 1968, AD, if you're wondering. Uh, our missile instructors were competitors. They didn't carry gun. They shot like this. They didn't know what they were talking. Well, the body of knowledge that we teach didn't even exist back then. So they didn't know any better. And when I got to Vietnam, you know, they gave me a pistol. I put a magazine in it that didn't shape around. Oh, yeah, too bad. Because no one knew any better. I think after the guy that shot down John Dillinger, trying to think of his,
Not yes, was it? No.
he carried a 1911. I'm pretty sure he carried his cock and line. Now this is the 20s and 30s. So it was done by some people in some, you know, narrow sections. But it was never codified. It was never, you know, it never got out. He never wrote any of this down.
He didn't put it on his Instagram.
Yeah. And you know, Jeff Cooper, to his credit, was the one who showed us all how to run 1911s. And now we're in a place where the 1911 is bordering on obsolescence because there are probably better systems out there. But I carried a 1911 for decades. And I still own 30 of them, of course, but I don't.
But it seems, and I guess back to the point. I'm sorry to cut you, but on the training side of things, and avoiding institutionalism, it seems like certain things. Like I've taken classes from guys who are cops, and it seems like some of the things that they're teaching, my ear hears it as like protection for the department from lawsuit,
Yes.
and maybe not so much getting that individual officer home to his wife and children.
And
And
that well said. Yeah.
like from military, sometimes my ear hears it doesn't really matter the 10-year-old up the wire, right? And so it's like, whereas as a civilian who's never been in either of those roles, I'm like, well, like, I want to get home to my family. I want everybody around me to be able to get home to their family. That none, 3 blocks up is a concern that I have to have.
Right.
And so the keeping it holstered and just go to my grave quietly, this way that the department doesn't get sued.
Right.
Right. And stuff like that even creeps into some medical classes that I've heard, where it's like, well, don't do that because you can't get sued for doing nothing, And it's like, well, but is that the most life-saving?
Is that the honorable thing to do?
Right.
The beauty of doing nothing is that nothing can always be done perfectly. No one will ever complain about the way you did nothing.
Yeah, that's
But
0 reps to mastery.
a good example is when we lighten triggers. The industry standard for most pistols now is 6 to 7 pounds on most pistols. Is that about right? I don't know. I don't know. It's something we live with. Well, you have some training officer in the police department. If we lighten the triggers to 4 pounds, scores will go up. When scores go up, it makes me look good. When I look good, I get promoted. You shouldn't be in that job. You got all the wrong motivation. Your motivation should be what you articulated. Our motivation is keeping our guys alive and out of jail. And everything we do,
able to live
Yeah.
with the outcomes of their decisions.
everything we do should be driven by that. We shouldn't be thinking about our next promotion or my popularity among, some higher level people. My motivation should be the welfare of those kids. And if that isn't your motivation, you should not be in this business. God knows there's no money anyway, but you should not be in this business. And so, yeah, you have to be a little careful about that. Well, we got this pistol, and right away scored went up. You have an accident went up too. Okay, there's a crossover there somewhere, and heaven knows we're having enough accidents already. A lot of people use guns for non-serious purposes, like competition, for instance. I regard that as a non-serious purpose. It's not illegitimate, but I am no longer say it. And what upsets me is when that stuff filters into our world. Well, things like vented barrels, hut slide, all that they do to get high scores.
And there's certain things that are translatable. I believe on certain levels, like our friend Super Dave, like he was competition shooter,
Right.
but he knew where to draw lines between what helps you win the game,
Right.
and what
is going to have legitimate
in the martial, legitimate, serious use.
And that's why I just think there can be no compromise. I just don't have any compromise with competition. When I see our gun is right for self-defense and competition, no, it's not. I don't want it. I want no compromises.
What about, so I've recently started carrying Bodyguard 2.0 as a backup gun.
Yeah.
So I never really thought of 380 as an adequate self-defense round, but I was watching some shooting with Peapod Jr.'s Defiant Munitions 380.
Yeah, Defiant.
And on
Can't beat it.
on the ballistic dummy lab, dummy with
Right.
ribs and everything, like it looked to have 9mm like performance.
It's not quite, but the 380 represents a very legitimate choice for a lot of people. My wife carried one.
Okay.
And with modern ammunition, like Defiant ammunitions, they are at the top of the heap in my mind. They make a wonderful product.
Yeah.
And they're certainly not the only good manufacturers. I like Black Hills. I like Kevin Underwood that makes an excellent product. And the mainline manufacturers certainly make good stuff too. But with modern ammunition, that's 380. It's perfectly legitimate.
I mean, Bodyguard 2.0, XS Sights is making their R3D sights, which is similar to their F8 sights. 3-dot tritium setup with a big colored ball on a hunkin' big front sight. Fits in like a jacket pocket.
Yep.
Nice and easy.
And for off-body carry, for a lot of women, not only women, but mainly women carry off-body in handbags and all that. Look at GTM down here, and there's a dozen others now making purses and all that. I think for many women, that not only represents a legitimate choice, it represents the only choice they have. And a gun like that, Bodyguard, you can't beat it. That's just perfect for that.
And if my choices are like for a female in my life, if she was telling me, hey, here's my choices, I can have that Glock 43X or 48 or SIG 365 in the bag, or I can hide this Bodyguard 2.0 on my body.
Yes.
I'm gonna probably tend to have her keep it on the body with the more comfortable.
If you can, but I tell you, I can give you an interesting statistic. A good friend runs a indoor range, very well-known indoor range in Oklahoma City, and this subject came up, and he said, "You know what? We have found, let's see, in the last 10 years, we've found about 24 guns left on toilet tanks in the men's bathroom. A couple by chiefs of police. And they were found by someone, and
I
there
didn't realize Tim Morris was going out over to Oklahoma City that often. But
he said, now, conversely, I have never found a purse in a woman that never once has a woman left her purse in a women's bathroom. So when someone says, well, you're just going to leave that laying around somewhere. Well, I'm not sure the statistics bear that out. So when you use a bathroom with a gun in a handbag, you don't have to take anything off, and so there's arguments both ways, and but I certainly don't. I know a lot of people are adamantly against soft body carry. I think they're wrong, and I think they're doing a disservice to a lot of women, not only women, but other people too, who really have no choice.
and I think it's something that needs to be trained and practiced often. But I've seen in course scenarios, off body carry being used to great effect by those who practice.
Who do practice, train with it?
Yes. Yeah. Very, very. Once it surprised me standing there, and you should have seen the eyes on the bad guy's face. As he's walking away. Thanks for the purse. Wait, that's still in her hand. It's very good for me because now he's got both in his hands right first.
Right.
Uh-oh. But yeah, no, I think trouble with that is I think there's a lot of instructors who won't allow training for that, or don't have any experience with it themselves to be able to help someone.
But they, if you're going to be an instructor, you need to look into that,
Right?
Because there are students who need to know that.
It's like I would argue so.
Yeah, you have knowledge that they don't have. You mentioned shoulder, same thing, shoulder holster.
Or ankle, right?
Ankle holsters, you're all legitimate.
You need to know how to approach that for a student who may need that.
And we don't allow shoulder holsters on the range. Some might say, well, okay, a lot of chauffeurs carry shoulder holsters, and they're sitting down all day. So you're going to tell him he can't train. Well,
And that's the common answer. So,
we'll find a way
right.
for you to train with that shoulder, that person, that ankle holster. We'll find a way. Because, we as instructors, we can't forget who's working for whom. We're there for their benefit.
So do you think that student, if we take that chauffeur, truck driver, Uber driver, whatever, where let's say a shoulder holster is probably the best thing for his defense, right? Would you advise him to go take a pistol class with like an outside the waistband or drop leg safari, or find somewhere where he can use that shoulder?
You have to start somewhere.
Right.
So if he could take a pistol course with a belt holster as a starter, I would have no objections to that. But if that's the way you're going to do it, you need to go to someone who knows about that, knows how to teach you how to use it. Because there's several peculiarities to shoulder holster. There's several varieties of shoulder holster. And you should be aware, if you're going to carry one, you should be aware of all of them, so you know which one might work for you. Let's see, Galco are probably but Victrola of New Hampshire, premier manufacturer of shoulder holsters. Not known for its discounts, but boy, this product is second to none. And they've been doing this for a long time, and they have a lot of customers, and they have a wealth of knowledge, and they can say, well, in your case, this might work better than this, or some other way of doing it. Well, probably know it all better than I do.
Right.
But so as an instructor, I wear shoulder holsters now and then just to get the experience.
Right. And so you do try and accommodate students, kind of meeting them where they are with what their needs are. That's something that
I've had students in wheelchairs, students who are barely mobile, and they need our help more than anyone. why shouldn't we feel some empathy for them and help them find a way to win, help them find a way that's going to be suitable for them. We call ourselves instructors. That's the business we're in.
And conversely, I've heard stories of instructors in what's supposed to be serious use of firearms classes, say, well, that type of holster is not allowed, or that position of carry, not even as wild as shoulder holster, but appendix.
Appendix, that's another.
And because it seems to me, again, institutionally, they're more worried about any kind of accidents and liability or something happening on their range is their priority over imparting knowledge that could help potentially save this person's life on their worst day.
And I get it, but so many people carry appendix now and then, or I should say these days. I don't. I carry, because that's the way so what's your rationale? Well, that's the way Sergeant Joe Friday, played by Jack Webb in 1955 on black and white TV. That's the way he did it, and so that's the way I do it. That's probably my rationale. Okay. But I've been I'm comfortable doing it that way, but many of my students, especially the slimmer guys and gals, they like to carry appendix. There's certainly issues there, but it's so popular, you can't say, well, then don't come to my range. Right. Because they're not going to train, and then they are going to shoot themselves. So, yeah, we're going to find a way and make sure they're aware of all the issues. We get the leg out of the way when they, reholster. And nothing that we do is safe. And if I had...
That's another thing I'd really like you to expand on. Like there is no, defined safe direction, right? And how can we do firearms training safely, right? Because, some videos get out on the interwebs of, friends of ours that, no secret, James liked to kind of push limits. I think Andy Stanford, Andy Stanford, let those 4 rules set you free, not limit you. And so I know teaching at technical response, we didn't, out of those 4 safety rules that Cooper gave us, there was nothing about 180 degrees in there. And so there's some drills where, like you said, if a shot needs to be made down that hallway, I want you, because I'm not looking that way. Right. So I want you, maybe push me back in the chair or take a step that way, but I'm okay with your round going right here to that dude with the knife who's about to stab me in the neck, and maybe, just maybe, practicing that a little bit before it's, like Ed Smith would say, the poop in the shorts.
In my courses, I like to have my targets are pictures of people. I mean, they have faces, they look like people. I always have threats mixed in with non-threats. So my students get used to the idea, you are going to point your gun at innocent people. It's unavoidable. Okay? Is there any safe way to do that? I don't even like the word safe, because safe implies a guarantee. How many instructors have you worked with that say, you do it this way and nothing bad will ever happen? Well, that's rubbish. There's no such thing as safe shooting. You want guns in your life? Risk attaches to that. You don't want guns in your life? Risk attaches to that too. And in the end, the bacteria win anyway. So we have to do a better job of defining risk. Right. Nothing we do is risk-free. Yes. We like to mitigate the suicidal risks, the foolish risks, but there's no such thing as safe shooting. Right. And there's no such thing as safe gun ownership.
Do you think certain things there, So again, I know it's not something that you may do on your range, running your classes, but when people seem to put arbitrary lines on the, well, what I do is acceptable,
Right.
and what you're doing goes past that line of where I feel comfortable, and I'm going to say the words, the risk is not worth the reward. The juice is not worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
They've never tasted said juice
Right.
or tried to squeeze with said pressure.
Right.
How do you navigate something like that?
You guess. You got to remember, so much of what we teach today and much of what we do in the range, 75 years ago, would have been blasphemy.
It's in Jackson.
Absolute blasphemy.
Yeah, because I mean, you teach scans, right? So scan it after
Yes.
you do it, right? And you know, there's a lot of new guys. You know, they've probably spent more time in the military than I've owned a gun, but seemingly new to the training world, who say like, that's rubbish. Like, why are you putting your gun away if the threat is still present? Or, you know, there's no need to look behind you because your threat should be laid out in a
Right.
in a pool of his own.
Well, a lot of military training, they work in teams. Something's covering my back, so I don't have to worry about it. We train, you're on your own, bud. No one's watching your back.
There
And
might
so,
be a guy with a skateboard coming up from behind you, you know?
so prior to holsterings, we turn around, step off the X, turn around. Now we had the pistol in the, swivel position, but yeah, on some ranges that would be considered blasphemy even today. But we do it, and I tell my students, listen, there's nothing that I want you to do out there that we're not going to do here. If it's too dangerous to do here, it's too dangerous to do it all. Now, I'm not going to put live people out there. We won't put paper targets,
Right.
to represent the not threat. But still, you mentioned earlier, never allow your gun to point at anything you're not willing to destroy. Well, that sounds very ponderous and very profound and all that. It's bullshit. You're going to point your guns at innocent people. It's unavoidable. And is there a chance you might shoot them? You bet there is. You don't get a no risk
Right.
scenario. So our strategy is not, I don't say, take no risk. I say take the best risk with everything that word risk implies.
Yep. Yeah. And there is no official safety, right?
No, no.
In James's mindset lecture, he quotes Cooper's color code. Condition white, only be in this when you are in a safe place, and then
You know what?
like Jaeger would do, define that. What's that mean?
Maybe in the next life. But,
Yeah, right.
nowhere here I know of.
Yeah.
I just want to, yeah. That's why.
But what you're talking about here is an important part of the philosophy we teach. We can teach chimpanzees to operate guns. It's just I tell my students, if you can operate a toaster, you can operate any gun I know of. But there's a whole philosophical overlay that needs to go with it, and that's what's so often overlooked in courses. Well, we're going to teach you how to run a machine.
Yeah.
There's
It's more than just your building.
You have to know how to interface with police. You have to know what to say, what not to say. That's all you have to. We have to know about verbal challenges. The whole philosophical. Don't go to stupid places. Don't have stupid friends.
That's probably harder than getting 0.17 splits.
I think it is. So that's unfortunately overlooked in a lot of venues. They just want to show you around the thing. So
Well, it's easier to teach that.
Well-
I think it takes that responsibility off of the instructor. If you come to me, like if someone signs up to me for a pistol optics class, and I'm working that one thing, I can be devoid of context of anything else. It's how to run this sizing system on this machine.
yes,
It's so cut and dry.
yeah.
It really does simplify.
And plus, you
it.
can do an impressive demonstration, but
But
I tell my
But
instructors.
when it comes to teaching a defensive pistol class, now the weight on the shoulders now
That's right.
is
Lots of
completely
job.
different.
I was in it was an ILFE conference. That's our industry law enforcement group. This was several years ago down in Florida, and an equipment manufacturer was doing a demonstration. He had the competitors who were up there, and he was showing a target appears for 1 second, up, and he draws and shoots and all that. And I remember the guy who owns the machine that did this. He turns to all the rest and says, "What do you think of that?" And one of our young patrolmen raised his hand. Yes. So what? What do you mean? You could possibly assess a threat that fast.
No, like your
What are you
targets that
demonstrating?
have either the cell phone or the revolver. What if we put that on there?
Yeah. There's nowhere in the world in that amount of time you could assess the threat accurately. So what are you showing us here? And he had no answer, of course, because he was trying to sell equipment. So, yeah, that's. There's always going to be a little of that. I tell my instructors, you're not here to impress your students. You're here to inspire them. Don't worry about impressing them. Inspire them. And you got to remember, you're here for their benefit, not yours. And we forget that at our peril.
Yes, it does.
So you use the word inspire there over the word teach, and that turned my ears on. A poorly formed question, but I'm anticipating you understand what I'm kind of looking for there in terms of clarification.
In this life, I think we're called upon to be good people. And to strive to be good people. And to fail. And to strive again. And to fail. And to strive again. I think that pretty much defines our life. We try to be good people. None of us are perfect, God knows. But we try, we strive to be good people. And we try to learn from our mistakes and fail and then get back up and strive again. That's, I think, what we're here to do.
So that inspiration potentially will lead your students to their own learning.
I hope so.
Versus
I don't like a religious content in my class.
Fair.
You're not
I'm
here-
100% okay. I have no problem saying it because there was one perfect guy, right?
Yes.
And
That's I'm a Christian. I'm unapologetic, but you didn't come here to hear my philosophy. I tell myself, you paid a lot of money. You didn't come here to listen to my talk about politics or religion. Now, be assured, I do have opinions, and maybe offer some adult beverages later on.
Right.
We'll talk about it, but I try very hard not to sound as if I'm up here trying to sell you something.
right.
Sell you on a religion or sell you on a product.
So you think our first duty to students is to inspire by the way be this.
Yes.
And like, I guess we'll go back to when I didn't want to grab you by the back of the shoulder. I think that inspiration does shine through. And as a student of yours, I do get that.
Oh, good. Good.
And it's well received, I think, for any student with eyes or any student with
I
ears.
hope so.
Right?
You know, as instructors, we learned that we can be successful with most students, or have some success with most students. But we all have students that we just can't reach, that we're just not successful with. It's always a disappointment for me, you know. But this is why I like to have other instructors teach with me, because when I'm not effective with someone, maybe they can't be. More than once I've had a student come to me and say, you know, John, I work with your associate over here, and I learned that if I hold the sights on target and press carefully and just let the gun go off, I hit the target. And I say, get out of here. Get out of here.
I should have mentioned that earlier.
Why did you tell me that? Well, you know, I did, but apparently the words I used just didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
So yeah, that's I've had that experience more than once, and I try to be effective with most people, but we all have our style, our way of doing it, our language, the way we present things, and you're going to be very effective with most people. Maybe not so with some people, and so we have to accept that, okay? And that's why I tell people, where should I go from here? Go to all the other instructors. You know, I think 90% of what we teach is probably very similar, but we're not only what we teach, but the way we teach it is different. Learn from all of us. None of us have a corner on this.
Is there like a top of the mind, like, don't worry about people getting left off the list, but top of mind, some people that any viewer should maybe look into training with in this martial pathway?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Other instructors who you believe are doing a similar job of inspiring students to live and walk in a martial path.
Yes, most do. But and I hate to mention anyone because then some people will be feelings that I didn't mention that. But I don't think there's too many people in this business that I don't know personally,
Right.
and that I don't have a lot of respect for. And even an instructor that I don't particularly have a lot of, go to him anyway.
Yeah, agree. I agree 100%.
I might be wrong. I may have misjudged them.
Right.
And go to all of them.
Yeah.
And just take it all in. That's what famous quotation from Bruce Lee. He said, absorb what is useful.
Right.
Take it all in. Form your own opinion.
Truth will kind of
We
rise
hope
to the
so.
top. You put enough light, and the truth will shine through to you.
Yep.
So yeah, I'd agree. Train as many places and
Yeah.
many different things. You know, hey, maybe that competition guy does have an
Absolutely.
update of a thing, and
He probably knows stuff I don't know.
he said some kind of word about the thumbs that the way he said it made my thumbs do what I was wanting them to do. Whatever it is, any nugget of knowledge is always useful to someone who knows how to
I agree. And it's a closed, not I shouldn't say closed. It's a small group. When you say something unkind about someone, it'll get back to you. And so I there's some instructors I like better than others, but we all have something to offer.
So what do you feel, and let me know if I'm keeping you too long. I want to be respectful of your time here at the show, but what do you think? It seems to me like a lot of what I see on the internet now, especially on the Instagram side of things or Facebook, is almost like 90s rap, where like people are trying to put others down to make them seem bigger, and hey, the more drama, the more mentions. And it seems like where you're saying if you say something unkind, like they're going to hear about it or it's going to get back to you. It seems like a lot of people are like going for that, and working for Jaeger, there's plenty of people said unkind things about him.
Right.
I generally didn't hear
But he
him.
didn't do it in turn.
Right.
He was
Yeah.
very great.
He didn't want to give them back any publicity.
And he said, yeah, maybe they're right. I'm not perfect. Yeah, maybe they're right.
So
None of us are perfect.
how do we avoid that as an industry kind of going forward?
I don't know. How could you, like you, I have very little tolerance for that.
Okay.
That all those other idiots don't know anything. You listen to me. Yeah, I've heard that much too often.
So just let it roll off.
Just let it roll off.
Your way.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Sorry, you feel that way.
And
That's an apology my ex would give me.
I'm sure people have said unflattering things about me, probably well deserved. Okay, that's fine. Either way.
I think our buddy Paul goes with, who said that? Oh, never heard of her.
Yeah, that's usually the case, right?
So, yeah. Well, again, I really appreciate you taking the time. Is there anything else you'd like to like smash any viewers in the face with about either the reasons to become a serious person in the serious use of firearms? One big thing that tip for them to take down the martial path or kind of calibrate their compass to, or any kind of parting thoughts you want to give the audience that I have on this kind of stuff.
I would say we're living in a very exciting period of world history. And I surely have no crystal ball. I don't know where we're going with any of this. But I think I can say with a high degree of confidence that these skills, this body of knowledge and skills that we teach has never been more important. And if you're hearing this, don't put it off. Start learning. Go to anyone. Just start somewhere and start learning. So maybe at the moment of truth, you'll have the equipment and wherewithal to come out of it alive. A lot of people today, this day, won't. It was too late for them. It is too late for them. Not too late for you. Come and join us, and we'll show you the true way.
Well, if you've made it this far, I assume you enjoyed the interview. Thank you very much for watching. Drop a comment below what your favorite part was. And just know that, Mr. Farnam is quite reserved when speaking to unknown audience in the public. When you get a chance to sit and talk with him without the cameras rolling, he really does open up, and it's an amazing experience. So again, please get in touch with him. Put one of his classes on your immediate to-do list. Guys, thanks for watching. And remember, there's many ways to the top of the mountain, but all of them require you to take the steps.